I have the privilege of testing lots of different GPUs on the channel. I've come across another one that looks to be probably one of the best in this year. But the thing is, I've also found that it's got one flaw that I need to talk about. But before that, let's take a look at this GPU and why this is probably one of the most ridiculously over-engineered and amazing GPUs that has been released this year, 2025. First thing I want to do is actually put the size in perspective. This is the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070. You might be rocking the similar size GPU in your system. Then we had the Asus RTX 3090. And this is what I call the behemoth, and we need to have a CPU sag bracket for this one of the first GPUs. I had that issue because it was so big. Look at the size of that. Then we moved on to the 40 series, and this over here is RTX 4090 or 4080 Super. They're exactly the same size of a cooler. And you can see, oh, it doesn't even fit inside the frame. Can you see the size difference? Even the thickness has gone like double into this one. And then enters the RTX 5080 into the chat. Look at the size of this. It's just ridiculously big. These fans here are what usually people use in their case or in their AIO. So these are 120mm coolers from Noctua. These are the new G2 120mm fans that they've designed that took them 7 years or something like that to design. They're amazing. We're gonna talk about the little intricacies in a minute of why this is absolutely ridiculous as well, because the size is not just one thing. There's lots of little interesting things inside that make this GPU absolutely amazing. So if we're looking at the backplate design, a little bit of pass-through. The 3090 has even less than the 3070. The 4090 has quite a bit of pass-through, and interestingly the 5080 here has a little bit less pass-through if you look at this. But we've got Noctua Eagle Eye or Owl Eye. Is it an owl or an eagle? I think it's an owl, isn't it? Now, I was a little bit negative between the 3070 and 4080 because it looked a little bit of a copy-paste. But now from 40 series to 50 series, they have gone to a whole other direction. Regardless, there is one thing that I think is a huge foresight in here, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about the good side first. Now, I wanted to talk about the design first because the size is one of those things that really kind of restricts you which build you actually have to have this in or can have it in because it's massive. So the graphics card size is 387mm long. If we're looking at the thickness, it is 80mm, literally 8 centimeters deep. And it's also quite thick. So we're reading about 13.7 centimeters. So what exactly did Asus do differently in here compared to the TUF or the Astral 5080? Number one thing that you can already notice is the 3 fans. They've put the 3 120mm fans in here. But there's another special thing that Noctua always talks about and is one of the key values in their company, which is silence or noise to performance ratio. So there's a special way how these fans are running in here. And Asus does this on their fans as well. So if you look at the 40 series here, you can see that the fan blades, can you see how they're different orientation? It's because the fans turn different way in order to reduce noise. Because if you have the same fans running at the same speed, you're gonna start to make what's called a harmony. All of these will start to make a noise and then it kind of compiles together and it just makes even more noise. Whereas these are running 50 RPM faster and then slower or vice versa. So there's A, B, A kind of scenario in here in terms of the fans. And if you remember from my fans video, that was another one of those things that I recommended and highlighted that you should do when buying the fans is when having them next to each other, make sure you go from A, B, A, B, A kind of combination, so you're not going to have the same type of fan next to each other making loud noise. So in here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws, and then the fans should kind of come out. Alrighty, so we'll just take the fan cable off from here. So they've got a special fan cable here that attaches to this board here that controls all of that stuff. As you can see, there is an LED light in there as well that you can probably control Armory Crate. If you wanted to have some LED fans and connect them into there, you could actually, which is very interesting. But there must be a little fan hub somewhere behind that connects from this connector to the normal PWM connector that you see over there.
It's so annoying. I don't want to pay hundreds of dollars to just change my Windows wallpaper just because my Windows isn't licensed.
Well, why don't you try Hookies? That's a ton cheaper. And if you use the code TN20, you get it even cheaper.
What do you mean? How do I get it and how is it possible?
Well, see this video here, or the one you're watching. Click in the link on the video description, add the Windows 11 CD product to the cart, proceed to checkout, add the code TN20 for the extra discount.
So what, the Windows 11 Pro OEM key is just $23.22?
Yeah. Choose the preferred payment option and complete the purchase. The key will be available on the purchased orders in a few moments. Copy the key and paste it into your Windows activation settings, and you're all done.
Oh, that was easy.
Is that Ryan Gosling?
No.
Anyway, by the way, the same discount code also works website-wide, so go check out other products, maybe like Microsoft Office. This heatsink underneath those fans is actually also custom made by Noctua Asus collaboration. The normal 5080, I believe, has 7 or 8 heat pipes, where in here there is 11 heat pipes plus a vapor chamber. So in this side we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but then also there are smaller ones underneath. You can see there's one on the top here, that's a very long one, goes all the way to the end there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 heat pipes. And you can see the vapor chamber that's on top of the GPU actual die in there. Plus the power delivery is cooled in there. You can see all of these are cooled. They've put a little thermal pad underneath here to cool the actual connector. Now this is a 5080, which pulls only 300 and something watts, so less than 400. And we haven't heard any of them melting, I believe. So it's a little bit of overkill, but it's still a nice extra that Noctua has done to keep the cable connector cool. We have a power and quiet mode. So this does not actually affect any of the power draw of the GPU. It just makes the fan curve more aggressive or kind of more quieter. Even the power mode is going to be so quiet, which I'll show you in a minute. Now I did notice that it is put on quiet by default, but I put it on performance mode, so we'll test that in a minute. But there is a very interesting thing also happening. So usually you have thermal paste on the GPU die that connects the GPU cooling to whatever heatsink you have. Whereas Noctua here is using a phase change thermal pad, which should last longer than thermal paste. The downside of a thermal paste is that because it is pasty, just like that, you might have seen it in any of your CPU coolers or something like that. This dries up over time because the liquid or the moisture inside there just dries up, and then the conductivity is not as good anymore. Whereas the phase change thermal pad should have a lot better performance over the years. And also it's got semi-passive cooling. So basically until the GPU reaches 50 degrees Celsius, the fans are not working and it's completely silent. But I'll show you that even the active cooling is going to be so much louder than anything else that you hear. Your breathing will be louder than, or your heartbeat's going to be louder than that in there. It's absolutely insane. You might be wondering, is the performance any good? Is it actually worth it? Well, this, according to Noctua, is actually better than any of Asus's own GPUs, whether it's TUF or Astral. This is a lot better in terms of quieter performance. And to be honest, I wouldn't expect anything less from Noctua. Whatever Noctua does is usually just top of the charts and top of the industry cooling performance. And interestingly, it's very nice to know that even if something happened to your fans, they are very easily replaceable. There's a couple of screws in the back, anyone can do it. It's not like you're gonna ruin any thermal paste or any glue or anything. It just comes up with a couple of screws. The chance of Noctua fans failing before the GPU or anything else fails is you know, not very, very likely. You're probably gonna have something else happen rather than these fans failing. But regardless, even if you wanna swap them to something else, like black ones or some other RGB ones, I think it gives you a very interesting option here. Let's go do a little test with it then. So here we are, the bad boy has been actually installed. This is the second test I'm doing. I've actually run a test behind the scenes for over 28 hours. I made it go the absolute, like, pinned it on Fairmark, which basically is a synthetic test that you just give it to kind of figure out some frames, and it's never-ending load on the graphics card that pulls 360 something like that watts for 28 hours straight. As you can see, it has been absolutely solid. Sometimes it goes up to 27 degrees in here over the night, but this topped at 70 something degrees, which is super, super low for this. It's absolutely amazing. How much performance is actually in store for this? But to torture something like that for 28 hours, I hope you understand that this is not how anybody would be using this. So right now I've been running this for over an hour and 10 minutes. And as you can see, the maximum we've peaked is 67 degrees. The GPU temperature right now is 65.8 degrees. And it is so quiet. Let me put the quietness in perspective. I've got some stuff running in the background over there, some Magic Miners. Hopefully that video will come out soon. I've got other kind of computers around. I can hear everything but this. So I'm gonna move closer. I can hear the Noctua previous generation AIO fans on the AIO. As you can see, that's behind here. I can't hear the fans. It is so quiet. I hope you understand, you will not hear this graphics card ever in your system. It's mental. By the way, if you're wondering which platform we're using the WRX 80E. We've got the Threadripper Pro 5995WX with 64 cores, 256 gigabytes of RAM, and the RTX 5080 there. I just want to have this open here. We've hit 67 degrees maximum. MSI Afterburner, wow, that is a different layout, kind of what it used to be before. I like this a little bit more. So the fan speed, well, let me put it back to auto. It says 62. As you can see, the temperature's already gone down because I adjusted it by taking off the auto. Look what the temperature is doing here. Can you see this curve there? How it's gone down. We've like lost almost 10 degrees. We're still pulling 360 watts. Wait a second, I still don't like the way this looks. Oh, yes, okay. We'll take the auto off, have this fan speed at 75%. We're gonna hit go. I can see the fans ramping up now. Okay, the fans are working. I mean, look what happens with the temperature. Literally 10 degrees lower, more than 10 degrees lower. It's still going lower. We're at 55 degrees. Okay, I'm gonna put the fans to 100% speed now. It's like, it's cold air that's blowing out from here. 52 degrees. And it's still going down. Bear in mind there's 21.7 degrees in this room right now. 51.6. I was on the quiet BIOS mode as well. Let me put it to performance mode. I don't know if that unlocks even more fan speed or not. Okay, it seems to be like we're 51.4 to about 51.7. Seems like we've kind of equalized there. It's not going any more further down. That's how low the temperature is going to be, about 52 degrees. That's bonkers. If we're going to take the power limit up from 100 to 125, let's see how it does then. So suddenly we're pulling 429 up to 429 watts. And let's see where the temperature is going to normalize there. Okay, it's been a couple of minutes. We have normalized in terms of temperature. We are 56.5 degrees. As you can see, we're kind of we're not moving. It's the same now. We're pulling 430 watts from the socket. I can kind of hear the fans, but believe me, it's not a bad sound whatsoever. It's not annoying. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to put the auto fan speed on. I wanna see what it actually is gonna do. It slows the fan speeds right down, which means that the temperature is probably going to go up, but I want to see at auto temperature, where's it going to leave in terms of the temperature, because 56 degrees it's kind of freezing. By the way, if you enjoy videos like this, consider subscribing. It's not going to hurt anybody. Comment what you think in the comment section below. Would you actually buy this or not? So at auto fan speed, can't hear the fans. Can't hear the fans. 62 degrees now. And look, we've plateaued again at 62 degrees. It's just absolutely crazy. As you can see, we're like 125% of the power limit. We're pulling over the power limit, so this is technically overclocking now. We're at 62. Okay, we went to 62.3 degrees. But now, I'm going to X this off and then watch what happens now. We've just instantly hit 40 degrees on the GPU temperature. Like whether you're on performance or quiet mode, the fans are going to stop if it just goes further below 50 degrees. I guess maybe the memory junction will also be included in there. That's crazy. We've arrived at this point looking at this GPU, and if you remember from the beginning, I said that there's one huge flaw about this GPU, and you might be thinking what you're talking about. Perhaps you're one of those people who's already caught this. And it's not the size, it is not the color, it is not anything to do with performance. The biggest flaw about this GPU is that it is a 5080, not 5090. Can you see how much cooling performance is in store with this one? I think they should have easily slapped a 5090 in there and then sold that one. I think it would make so much more sense. We get finally the performance that we're after from the 5090. We have a easily the quietest 5090, unless you're running like an AIO or something like that, which I have the Zotac 5090 is running in there. The price point, the extra price that you would have to pay to get the Noctua 5090 would kind of make sense as well, compared to the 5080, which seems a lot more expensive. So the biggest problem I have is, why isn't it a 5090? Is it because NVIDIA doesn't have enough 5090s, and in order to actually make some kind of sales prediction, we have to lower it to go with 5080 because less people are interested in that, or it's not as demanding as the 5090. But this is so over-engineered for this one. It should be so much faster GPU because it cools it so well. I do have one more little thing to note, which is that this is a 2-slot thing, and Asus keeps doing that with their cards. They like to have a 2-slot bracket in there rather than a 3-slot. I guess it's something to do with the case compatibility. If you've got a vertical mount or something like that, you might only have 2-slot in there. But if you had 3-slot, it would be a lot more solid. You have more points of contact. Plus you could screw in the shroud for all the fans and everything a little bit more tighter. So I think 3 would make a lot more sense, because where you're gonna put this one, you're probably gonna have plenty of space. So you're gonna have to have plenty of space. Let me know what you think. I love what Noctua has done, but it feels like NVIDIA or Asus has let them down by not giving them a 5090. The fans are not even working because it passively has so much cooling potential. Let me know if you agree. Thanks guys for watching. If you want to pick this up, I'm going to leave the link in the description below. As always, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.